Hello and welcome to Infotech. In this video, we'll see open source versus closed source web-to-print solution. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit bell icon. There are two types of web-to-print solutions. There could be an open source web-to-print solution and there could be a closed source web-to-print solution. So let us take few of the points for open source web-to-print solution. Now in this type of solutions, the developer uses the e-commerce platform which is already there in the market and ready to use. Anyone can create any type of software using this. Now for example, it is Magento, either WooCommerce, OpenCart or PrestaShop. Now these source codes are already available in the market openly, so anyone can take that source code and create the new code. So for example, the source code of Magento or WooCommerce or OpenCart are available in the public domain such as github.com. These source codes are available for free. So any developer or any company willing to create a solution or application or a software can use this source code and create their own application. They integrate that. Now the web-to-print solution providers, what they do, they have a team of developers. They create a designer tool. Now they create a designer tool and different essentials module related to print business, and then they integrate their source code with the existing source code. For example, if they decide that they are going to create a web-to-print solution for Magento platform, then they use the source code of Magento. They create their own designer tool and modify the Magento source code and integrate their tool into this and create a web-to-print solution which is based on a Magento platform. Now other thing, some other company decides to create a web-to-print solution on WooCommerce platform. So they take the source code from the GitHub and create a WooCommerce kind of a tool. So they develop a designer tool based on WooCommerce and they integrate their designer tool into WooCommerce application. So the WooCommerce application already have all those functionalities such as order management, reporting, sales, product creation, categories. All those functionalities are already there in the WooCommerce as well as Magento or any other kind of an open source platform. Now this company, this web-to-print solution provider, just has to integrate their designer tool in this kind of e-commerce platforms and create a web-to-print solution. Now let us go and understand what is closed source platform. The web-to-print solution provider has their own developer team. They develop each and every application, each and everything in-house. They don't use any ready-made applications or ready-made platforms. They use either the PHP, Java, .NET and then create their own e-commerce platform. Right, and the source code is not available to anyone. The source code is only accessible to the developer of that particular company. The closed source web-to-print solution providers develops their e-commerce platforms such as order management, reporting, sales management, product creation, product category creation, everything in-house as well as the designer tool. So they create each and everything, each and every feature, each and every functionality by their own and with the help of their own development team. They do not provide the source code. Now suppose if you purchase the web-to-print solution from a closed source provider company, then they are not going to give you the source code. Whereas the open source, you already have the source code of the e-commerce platform in the market. But The closed source web to print solution providers will not give any kind of code or source code to you, even you purchase a licensed version from them, right? And in the major drawback for this kind of a web to print solution is that for any change, any requirement or any request, either you have to pay additional to them or you have to request them. That means if you have specific requirement for your website, then you have to get in touch with the web to print solution provider from where you have purchased this and ask them to develop this kind of functionality that you are requiring. So this is your specific requirement, so they will charge you additionally. Now the difference between the open source and the closed source. Now the difference is my personal opinion. Everyone could have a different opinion for web to print solution, whether open source is better or closed source is better, or closed source is having greater advantage and open source is having the greater advantage. This is just my personal opinion, and if anyone willing to buy the web to print solution, they have to check their own requirements, their own business need, and based on that you have to select the type of web to print solution, either the open source or the closed source. Now let us go through the major difference. The first one is the security. Now the open source web to print solution is little bit vulnerable in the security, because you see the source code of major functionalities are open, everyone can access, right? So that's why it is little bit vulnerable. However, the Magento or the WooCommerce has taken the major steps in their security, but still they have followed and they have opted 2 to 3 level of security concerns, providing the email check or email security or OTP kind of a thing. Then without that you won't be able to get into admin panel. So they have already taken that, but still it is little bit vulnerable. As far as closed source web to print solutions are concerned, they are highly secure. The client's details of open source are still secure. Don't worry about that. There is no question of your client's details. The Magento or the WooCommerce or any other platform has given more weightage on keeping the client data secure. So your client data is highly secure even in open source code web to print solution. And as far as closed source is concerned, there is 100% intact. There is no chance. There is very less chance of security breach. My second option is pricing. Since the open source code web to print kind of a solution, more than 70% of the functionalities are freely available on GitHub. So the pricing ought to be less compared to the closed source web to print solution. Now the price of the closed source web to print solution would be little bit higher, because they have developed in-house each and every functionality based on the requirement of a print business. They have understood the print business and they have created each and every module of that function of that web to print solution based on your printing requirement. However, depending upon other add-on modules in open source, depending on add-on modules, you can ask them to develop your requirement. For example, vendor module, for example, workflow module, for example, multi-store or multi-vendors or multi-websites. This kind of requirements can be asked to the open web to print solution providers for an open source, and they would develop for you. In closed source, you have SaaS model that could be affordable for small builders. Otherwise, the pricing of the closed source is going to be a little bit higher. The other difference is support. Now, since you know that open source is free, so now you know that open source, the functionalities are free. So the after sales support of that would be less. The web-to-print solution provider will be providing the support of their designer tool and the functionalities that they have developed, but they won't be able to give much support on the functionalities that are already free, already available, because they have not developed. Whereas the closed source support has to be quick, because they know what they have developed and what they have created, so they understand each module and each functionalities they have created. So the support would be high in closed source, and in open source it would be little bit weak. They may take little bit time because they don't have that, they are depending on the third party. So when you have some queries, some requirements, some errors, then the web-to-print solution providers will seek the third party for that bug or whatever, and then they will come back to you after the resolution. If they are not getting the resolution, it may delay. But as far as closed source is concerned, as I said, each and every functionality has been developed in-house, so they know how to resolve, and the resolution will be faster compared to the open source web-to-print solution providers. Now the fourth and the most important thing is updates and upgrades. Now open source web-to-print solution providers will be providing you the updates and upgrades on the modules which they have developed, whereas the modules which are already inherited from e-commerce platforms such as Magento or WooCommerce, they won't be able to provide any kind of upgrades on that. They have not developed that. So once the Magento itself creates new feature and upgrades their own version, only then you will be able to get those features in your open source web-to-print solution provider. Whereas in closed source, they provide regular updates, as well as they provide the updates on each of the module. They go through each of the module, they keep the research, they have their own research team, and they also take the feedbacks of the customers, and based on the customer's requirement, they create the new features and add on to their solution on a regular basis. So as far as closed source web-to-print solutions are concerned, they keep on upgrading their web-to-print solution frequently and on a regular basis. Now what is my suggestion? If you I have been in this field since 2014, so what I have observed is that if you are going to have a web-to-print solution, you should first do some research work. Go through both the types of the web-to-print solution. Take their demos, check their functionalities, and if they are providing free trial, then you should take that. Take the free trial of either 10 days, 15 days, whatever they provide, and then check all the functionalities and the features which are there, and check whether it meets your requirement or not, and choose the best. Thank you for watching this video.